dream. And that's the secret code for I'm alive, but I hate my life.
Yeah, definitely not living any dream here. Oh boy. All right. Yeah. So welcome to Rats Out Review Radio. We are now live on YouTube as well and Free World all at the same time. It's cool when you're able to broadcast to multiple places all at once.
Actually, it's pretty cool. I didn't know you could even do that. So you told me about it a little while back.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought the websites were kind of against each other with live streaming on all of them, but
Well, this Free World gets run by a different program. So it's I'm only Zoom is going to YouTube and Zoom is also going to this other program that goes to Free World. It's all a bunch of nonsense no one cares about. But today we're gonna we've been talking about Megadeth for the last few weeks, but since you have not joined us for the last two episodes, I said let's have you recap the albums that you have missed
yes,
because
that's good to me
me and you have started this
because
show together,
I
and
was not happy to miss them.
right.
Work sucks, but anyway, yes, we started the show together.
We started the show together, and I hate doing episodes without you, and especially with Megadeth. I mean, you love Megadeth, so um, I hated that you had to miss those other episodes, but I wanted to make sure that you got your words in because these are special albums. I know you love all of these.
I appreciate it. Oh yeah, actually, it's funny. Well, Risk I really didn't start to revisit until a couple of years back, but it's not really that bad of a record.
Mm.
There's some definite missteps, and okay,
It's just
yeah,
different.
yes, I watched the original WCW Monday Night Nitro
Mm.
when Goldberg came back and they played live and all that. But okay, Crush 'em kind of sucks. It's
Yeah,
definitely not the best representation of the record.
no, not at all. I don't know why they picked that song to do anything with. I don't know. It's just yeah.
I never got it. Breadline wasn't bad though. That was the
No,
other.
that's a good song. Yeah.
I like that song. There's but to start off, I missed Rust in Peace, which is just a 10 out of 10 classic.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there isn't a song I don't like on here. It's expertly played, and it's recognized as a classic for a reason. It's chock full of riffs, and it's funny going back and reading both contemporary reviews at the time and retrospective ones now. Just, oh, they sold out, they went commercial, but well, they really didn't. I mean, they're definitely more melodic with Nick Menza and Marty Friedman.
Mm.
And okay, I doubt the first Poland line. Well, Megadeth from about 85 to 88 was far too angry to do something that sounded as well, I wouldn't really call it radio friendly, but as melodic as Hangar 18. That was
Right.
never going to happen.
Right. But they, you know what? Even I never even heard anybody say it was that way, like mainstream in a way. I never got that from that album.
It's
But I guess I
it's
can kind of understand it coming from the albums before.
mm-hmm.
It's just it's Megadeth being Megadeth, but and I think it's also a Megadeth that finally got not got their shit together, but like was able to put out like a very cohesive album from like beginning to start without any kind of I don't know
Well,
like filler tracks. Well, I don't know what I'm saying.
I feel that way about Peace Cells, but no, I get what you mean because okay, as much as I love, especially the first two records, and they are very special, but it's a completely different, very unique thing, very aggressive type of thrash.
Mhm.
But it wouldn't have been that way if Chris and Gar didn't come from a jazz fusion background, I
Right,
believe.
right.
What happened on this record is Dave and Dave grew up, both
Mhm.
as people and as songwriters. And Marty Friedman, especially, I think, with his background and the way he wrote, was a big catalyst to them doing what they did. Because let's face it, I like So Far So Good, So What a lot. It is a good album, but it's
Mhm.
definitely not the best. And they couldn't have continued on like
No,
that.
no, it's too early to do an album like that. So even though I do love it, it's just like you said, it's just It is what it is, though. It is a good album.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still plenty of aggression on this. You know, I think a lot of that now is even more so because we did see it a bit during the message board days, as we know.
Mm.
Even more so now, especially with the younger people. So many of them just seem to be elitist pricks.
Yes, it seems everything that I listen to and I like sucks by everybody on the internet. It's like, where did this come from? Where does hatred always come from now? This is
You know,
weird.
and it's funny too because we've always seen it, and even I say it like, yes, I would prefer Paul Diano to Bruce Dickinson, but all of this Dickinson sucks. Maiden died after Killers. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I really don't get it. Catman joined us in the chat, by the way, and he said he used to enjoy Megadeth back in the day. Not too afraid to say I was never a huge thrash fan, so I didn't mind a lot of output from '89 onward. Therefore, Countdown to Risk, not bad, really.
Yeah, I could see you liking Rust too, Catman. I mean, it's not all super trash. You did. I mean, the Megadeth of old still exists here, just in a little bit more of a refined way.
Right? Yeah, yeah. You got the mix of the first two. You got
Polaris.
it puts a mix of the first three albums. I think is on Rust in Peace. It's got the melodic stuff. It's got the thrash stuff. It's got a mix of everything on there.
Yeah, it was kind of everything they had done at that point, and then
I think a little bit more well thought out as well too. You
I was
know,
going to say the precision of the songwriting and the riffs kind of showed where they were going to, even though as precise and as well thought out as something like Tornado of Souls is, they never quite thrashed that hard again, as much
right?
as I love
No,
Countdown to Extinction.
yeah. Although on the newer albums, I think they kind of got back more into the thrashy stuff, especially in
I feel
Dystopia.
like they started doing that around 13, but
Right.
it took them a little while to work it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, honestly, the first rehash album they did was "The World Needs a Hero," but
Mm-hmm.
that they managed to revisit their older days very well. But what they forgot to bring with it was the aggression.
Right. Yeah, that was the one downfall of that album, really, because I actually do. We talked about that last week. I do actually like that album. There are some really good songs on there.
I like that album a lot. That was the first time I saw them actually. But I mean, you got stuff on there like I'm gonna call it Hangar 18 Part Duh, but I know it's
Mhm.
got a really stupid title anyway.
Yeah, it's
Hangar.
oh, you got the yeah. You got the record, huh? I didn't even know they put a record out for it.
You know what's funny is there's well, this is the reissue, which I meant to grab them both, but in spite of the fact it came out in 2001, it's actually really cheap for an LP from that time period.
Really?
Usually the later ones are much more expensive. Well, that's why I don't have cryptic writings. I mean, I love Megadeth, but I'm not paying 400 fucking dollars
No,
for an
not for that
original
one.
cryptic writings.
No. I'm surprised they released that because I really thought records were kind of done by then. So I'm surprised that that was released on a record as well.
Well, I do remember it was a special deal. I mean, I don't know how limited it truly was, but it was one thing that they were advertising in Tower Records. Now I bought the CD at the
Mm.
time.
Right. Yeah, I've never seen it, so that's kind of strange. It's weird. But also, I
I do
wasn't
think,
looking for records back then either, so I wouldn't have cared.
the thing is I collected records here and there because I had my dad's stuff and other things that had been given to me by other people. And I would just buy ones where I thought the cover art looked real cool, blown up 12 by 12 like that. And I did have a turntable. I would still listen to them here and there, but
Mm.
other than really early first press like US pressing CDs
Mm.
and the ones from the late 90s where they were just compressing the hell out of the data on them.
Uh,
Other than those two time periods, CDs generally sounded pretty good. I mean, I've definitely always appreciated the more low end and fatter sound of the vinyl albums, but I almost feel like people hate on CDs just to do it, like, oh, look at me, I'm cool type of thing.
well, that's the cool thing to do right now because records are in. But now I think records are starting to fade away again because the prices are just insane.
CD sales beat them for the last 3 months.
Yeah, it's crazy. Catman, he saw Gigantor where the power went out or something in the middle of Megastar set. Oh, Megadeth set. Dave was pissed. Yeah, I would imagine he'd be pissed.
Oh yeah, the power went out, especially on Gigantor. That was his deal, man.
That's his tour. So yeah, I could understand that.
Oh, totally.
But yeah, Rust in Peace. That was the album that I started with, and I just I played drums to that album too all the time. So I know that album very well, especially the drum stuff, and it was just a fun thing to play along with.
I'll be honest with you because I learned how to play pretty much the first five albums entirely
Mm.
on guitar, and I don't know. Rust in Peace is probably the funnest one to play, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoy Peace Cells a lot, but there's something about the riffing and the more old school style early heavy metal riffs. I mean, it's still thrash, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of swing to it. It's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is a great album. Where's Sean Peck? Let's get him. Sean Peck's busy collecting comic books. He's not coming on the show. Sorry.
He's a Spider Man, I guess.
So all right, what's after Rust in Peace was
Oh, but
oh,
the video for Hangar 18, cheesy as it may be, I loved it.
what is the video for Hangar 18? I don't remember.
Oh, I just remember the cheesy version of Vic that's in it. I think it's just basically them playing in like an airplane hangar. I don't think there's a whole lot of, maybe some
I don't
alien
even know
X
if I
Files
saw it.
type stuff going on.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Hangar 18. Let's see.
But next is Countdown to Extinction,
That is right.
which is one of the first ones I ever owned.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, I got this in Peace Cells at the same time.
Oh yeah, I remember this video.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
It's
Not in the
cool.
way they meant it to be, but
No, it's cool for 19. What was it? 1990, right?
1990. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I think
that's
they actually shot that in '89. No, it was 1990 because they ended '89 as a three piece, and they did No More Mr. Nice Guy for the Shocker soundtrack. That's right.
right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that video. That's a cool video, actually.
But this is another one, not a bad song on it, and I mean, part of that I suppose could be a little bit of bias because I had it so early.
Mm.
Because okay, Sweating Bullets is a little silly, but I like it. It
It is
works.
silly. It is a very silly song.
Well, to me. I always feel like he's been tongue in cheek with it, like Dawn Patrol, for example. It's great,
Mm.
but you can tell he's got his tongue in his cheek for doing
Oh yeah,
it.
of course. Of course. I remember getting Countdown to Extinction, and actually I got it from Nobody Beats the Whiz. Remember that store?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I had the cassette. My grandfather took me to buy it. And of course, I put it in the car, and he listened to it too on the way back home. He enjoyed it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
My buddy made me a cassette
yeah.
of that in P cells. But yeah, yeah. But oh man, like Captive Honor, there's a great song that nobody ever talks about.
But yeah, they nobody. Yeah, they don't. Did they even play that live?
I don't think they ever have, which is funny because that's one of the most Megadeth songs out of the whole album.
Right.
If you're going to push the aggression and strength envelope that way. Oh, God, great solos, great riffs. And Dave's vocals sound great, which doesn't always happen
Right. Yeah. No.
when they started moving into this era. Because that's actually, honestly, with the next one, Euthanasia, the biggest thing that always bothered me about it, Toulemond, he just does not sound good trying to sing in French.
Well, that was weird because
Yeah.
he never did that before, and then hearing him do that. But I don't know.
I,
I thought he did good on Countdown, and I remember too. And I mentioned it on the other show when they were recording that album. Headbangers Ball did like a special episode on them recording the album, so that was pretty cool. You got
yeah.
behind the scenes look at what was going on, and I thought that was cool. And that was the first Megadeth album that I bought brand new. So
Oh, cool.
holds a lot of memory to me, because back then too, all of my friends in school they loved Megadeth too, so it was something to talk about.
We all did too, and I was the first one to get Risk, and I kind of went, huh. Well, I had yet to hear Cryptic Writings, and granted, there isn't a lot of difference between Euthanasia and Cryptic Writings, but it does help a little bit as a bridge into Risk because
Right,
when you go just even right from Euthanasia to that, it's like, what the fuck happened here? This is bizarre.
right, yeah, no, it's definitely a gateway into Risk because there is a bits and pieces of what will come on the next album. Catman Cool, I didn't know Greg was a guitarist. Me too.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I haven't played in a long time, but
He loves Hangar 18, and Ralph doesn't like it. Yeah, what does Ralph like?
oh, he just loves Sammy Hagar, I hear.
Oh yeah, he's his best friend. Uh, but yeah, so Countdown to Extinction, I think is a really really good album. That's very commercial. There's really no thrash on that album. I don't think really. I mean, a little tiny bit. There's a little bit of thrash on there,
Well,
but not.
there is. I mean, their riffing style stays pretty aggressive, and most of the solo breaks in the songs are pretty thrash oriented. But the only song I think you could say is pure out and out thrash is probably the closer, Ashes
Right.
in the Mouth.
Yeah,
That's the only one that really does like so far so good. So what? Peace sells era.
definitely can hear that in there.
But you have a lot of movie, and it's fine. I'm looking at these titles and I can hear the song in my head. That's how much I've heard this.
Yeah.
But Architecture of Aggression, Foreclosure of a Dream, This Was My Life, um, Countdown to Extinction. That's where you can hear them. And I guess there's no way to avoid saying slowing down because that is kind of what it is.
Mhm.
And yes, they were pushing into more of a hard rock form. Although, sorry, everybody, I disagree. They never stopped being metal.
No,
Maybe a little bit on Risk, but still, it's metallic.
yeah, definitely.
but
You also got to remember too
if
when Countdown came out. That's when the music scene was all about alternative, rock.
Oh, certainly. But
So,
also, more importantly than that, even more than something like them chasing the dollar sign or the charts, which, is always kind of a goal if you're in a band, you want to be successful at it.
right.
And then you had what other bands were doing at the time. But I think a lot of it is really just them growing as a group, growing as musicians together, just because there were different options opened up
Mhm.
by Marty and Nick. And Dave liked a lot of different music, still does, I'm sure, but likes a lot of different music too. And while the heaviness is still here and the aggressiveness on this, I just think they were pursuing other things to bring into their sound. I really don't see it as a sellout period like a lot of people claim.
No, I don't think so with it. And you can't make the same album over and over again. I mean, you can, but you're probably going to lose people because after a while they get bored of hearing the same thing over and over again.
Oh yeah, it it it,
So
it does get boring.
you have to expand your fan base. So you can't expand your fan base if you just do the same thing over and over again. And
That's
they
why honestly, a lot of people will say to me, "Well, you love Napalm Death and Carcasses and Terrorizer, but you don't like a lot of grindcore." It's like, well, there's only so much you can do with it. Those guys started the whole thing off, but then I love them because they evolved.
right,
If every Napalm Death album sounded like Scum or From Enslavement to Obliteration, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be into it beyond those first two. There's
right. Yeah, there's only so much you can listen to of it. Although I listen to mostly almost all the ACDC albums, and they all sound the same too. So, but that's a different story.
well, there
There are
we
differences. So,
ACDC is a very subtle band to discuss, but there are a lot of differences between
yeah,
albums, despite what people claim.
yeah,
But well, hell, Captive Honor, as badass as that song is, there's something that wouldn't have really fit in with Rust, but is still a great song.
yeah. Hmm. Definitely. All right, then we go to Euthanasia. Oh, wait, before we do that, Vic was always on the cover of every album, and I discussed this on the last show too. But he's not on Countdown to Extinction. Did you miss Vic? I mean, he's on the back.
He's on the back.
I love the back. I mean, I wish that was the front cover, but did you feel like you missed Vic on the front covers, or you didn't care, or how'd you feel
It
about that?
struck me as odd at first, but then he was on the back, so it really didn't bother me that much.
Mm,
Although I thought it would have been cool. Just, I mean, Countdown to Extinction, I feel like there's ways you could have worked them in. Like the abacus idea is neat, but,
mm,
and, the dude screaming in the prison cell and wasting away. I get it. It fits the album. So I really don't find Vic's absence that upsetting on that
mm.
one.
Yeah. All right. We got going in chat here. Dave trying to capitalize on Metallica's success with these albums. Yes, pretty much.
Uh,
He's always been trying to one up Metallica.
I mean, he's always wanted to try to beat them, but see, at least until you get to Risk. Countdown to Extinction does not feel like a knee jerk reaction to do something like that. It very much feels like them naturally progressing.
Hmm. I'll agree with that one.
Don't think it's fair to include it with that. Now, did he see that success and was a little bit more encouraged to go more radio style? Yes. And I think Euthanasia shows that.
No, definitely.
But if you read Marty Friedman's interviews and seriously listen to him talk, that's kind of where he wanted to move in the first place after Rust in Peace. So I really think it was the band moving together for the most part.
Mm. And they had a bunch of they had a band, they still had those two guys, Marty and Nick together, so they had a
Mm-hmm.
good band going there for a while.
And even though it does change, it still sounds like Megadeth, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the Black album, James' voice, but other than that, that's kind of out of fucking nowhere. I really don't think Megadeth that was they made a break like that from what
Mm.
they were doing.
What else we got in the chat here? Also, what was happening in the music scene back in the early '90s? Yeah, we discussed that with Nirvana and Soundgarden. So they did need a little bit of a change, but I like how Megadeth did not just go full blown, try to do something totally different. They still knew what they wanted to do.
If anything, yeah, I think it was the alternative scene that Dave especially saw and said, I not only I want some of that, but I want to work some of that into my music. I don't feel like it's completely a money thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like Danzig, he pissed everyone off, the lovers and haters, and add a couple of good-looking guys in the band, you can garner some women's attention. I don't know. Was there any good-looking guys in Megadeth? I don't know. Looks like they tried to be good-looking
I
guys, but
mean, Marty Friedman's kind of a pretty boy.
I guess, especially with that curly hair.
Dave looks like an evil leprechaun, though, always has.
He always has. Yeah, he's a really strange
And
looking guy.
Junior's just a gomer, just your West gomer. Looks like he should be out baling hay with a tractor.
I didn't my euthanasia CD ain't out here. I guess I put it away. But even in that
Oh,
album cover,
had
they've
me
got a
forget
haircut.
all that. Here's another expensive one.
Yeah, is the picture on the inside of there?
Blue
With them?
vinyl, though. First press.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, 400 bucks, I'll sell it to
Yeah, and I'm okay. I'll trade you that cassette, the
you.
corner cassette for that.
What
It's
picture?
right here.
Because the gatefold has
Oh, what the
like
hell?
what
Oh yeah, that
was
okay.
in it, and then
Yeah.
it's got the picture of Vic on the rear.
But on the inside jacket, there's no jackets on the inside. But the band picture with but Dave cut his haircut and they were wearing like suits.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the Vic's picture because we
Yeah,
were discussing that on the back
yeah.
page.
I saw that picture. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
This is the one that bugged me the most when I first saw it. Him looking like he's at a Beatles photo shoot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's been a hard day's night. Like, I like the Beatles, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but
me
what
too.
in the fuck is this guy
Yeah,
doing?
you
And
don't
then,
need don't need Beatles in the Megadeth stuff. Come on.
and then his nice little pencil thin
Right.
mustache. Just looks like he's ready to join Soundgarden.
Yeah, right. It's a shame he passed away. I was hoping he was going to get back with Megadeth, and it looked like it was going to be that way, but he passed away when it looked
That
like it
was
was
a
going to
damn
happen.
shame. I was really hoping for them to do something together.
Yeah, it sucks. It's like and then they're doing that movie about him too, but it seems to have stopped. I don't know if it's still going on or what's going on with that movie. I'll have to look up and see if any more
I
information
don't
about
know.
it. But it was getting like all this press and stuff, and then all of a sudden just disappeared. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, yeah, I suppose it could have to do with a lot of things like rights issues, who was funding it, etc.
Yeah, I don't know. But
But hopefully it gets done.
yeah, I hope so. But yeah, getting to euthanasia, that and like I mentioned this on the other show, this is like their black album to me.
Yes,
You know,
this is the
it's
Megadeth radio album.
right. And it was a shock to me. I didn't care for how the drums sounded. It took me a long time to like really like this album. I liked the first song. I can't think what's the name of the first song?
Reckoning Day.
Reckoning Day, yes, because I saw that they played that on some MTV Music Awards show or whatever, and I thought that was really, really cool. I said, "All
They
right, this
did
is
that at the VMAs. The first
yeah,
one I heard and saw was Train of Consequences on Late Night with Letterman.
okay." Yes, I remember that one too because
Yeah.
I stayed up late to watch that one, and yeah, I said, "All right, these songs." I didn't like that song so much, but I like Reckoning Day a lot. So I was like, "All right, it should be a good album," and I was just kind of like, "What happened here? Like, why are they sounding like Metallica now?" And it's everything is so kind of just like slow. There's no thrashy things. I mean, even when there is a section where it could be a thrashy part, like in the song used in Asia, where it gets like really fast for the solo,
Yeah.
there's no double bass drums. There's nothing. There's no double bass drums on this whole entire album. It's just mid tempo songs throughout
You
the
know
whole
what? I
entire
never
thing.
thought about that before, but you're 100% right. There isn't any double bass in Reckoning Day either, and that's one of
Nothing.
the thrashiest type songs on here.
Right. And
Yeah,
I was
we're
just kind of
blessed
like,
to deserve it.
not that it needs double bass, but it's Megadeth, and you expect some double bass stuff going on, and it just there's nothing in there, and it bugged me for like a really long time.
That that didn't really get me as much. I heard Reckoning Day, heard Train and Consequences, loved them both, but then I actually got the cassette,
Mm.
and the whole thing's mid tempo, like you were saying. I mean, you get some fast solo parts, but there's not a whole lot of that Megadeth aggression in there, even of those. They're very precise, they're played well, but it isn't quite the same. And it bugged me because it was so mid tempo. I'm like, oh, this sucks. They kind of run together, which I feel totally different now. I like the
Oh
record a
yeah,
lot. There's a couple
yeah, yeah.
filler tracks, but it's a very well done album. But yeah, I kind of wrote it off a little bit at first because I was more interested in Hidden Treasures,
Right. Okay.
which
I
came out
didn't get to
at
get
the same
that.
time.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got Breakpoint on there, 99 Ways to Die, which is great. Go to Hell, which I had first seen in Bill and Ted's
Yes.
Bogus Journey.
Which is
So,
what I was hoping was going to be like the next album was going to sound like, and yeah, it didn't. You know.
well, that came out before Countdown did.
No, I know that, but like even with 99 Ways to Die, that was like in between those two
Oh, yeah.
albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
was.
I was hoping it was going to be like the bridge. It's somewhere in between those two songs, but it wasn't. I was like, oh man. But like you said, like it finally grew on me, and it is a decent album. And I'm just thinking too. You know what? It really reminds me of like the sound of it too. It sounds like Creatures of the Night with the way the drums got like this big room sound and they're very echoey, and the whole album just
It
has
does.
this big room
It's very
sound
loud
to it.
and bombastic like that, and with the
Yeah.
reverb. Yeah. And that actually surprised me to learn later on, as I got older and to listen to this stuff more and reading through it. I was actually kind of surprised Max Norman produced this at first.
Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't
He
sound like
did.
a Max Norman album.
No, it doesn't at all. It's very different for him. I mean,
Mm.
I like it. I enjoy it. I love reverb.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good, but I don't know. It's just weird in the Megadeth album, but there are really good songs in there. And we mentioned it before, Tout Le Monde. It's funny to hear him singing in French, but it to me it works. I mean, I do like the song. They did go back and like re-record it with the girl from Lacuna
Lacuna
Coil,
Coil. Yeah.
which I like that version too. It's okay. I think that's the only song I like on that album. But it's a good song. And then you got Family Tree.
It
Um,
is a good song. It's just like I said, it's the fact he's doing it in French and
yeah,
Dave snarl. It works
right,
when he's singing the part in English, but you can tell he really doesn't speak French and he
right.
struggles a little bit. It bugged me at first. I'm fine with it now. It's a great song, but you're going along with that melody, and then that guitar riff that they're playing is just taking you along with it. And then you get to "Voir Bactier" or whatever. It just totally breaks up that melody for a half a second.
It does. It's very strange, but he does it. He makes it work.
He does make it work. I'm just, more so how I felt when I first heard it.
I gotta get the Wikipedia
Because, but
thing.
there's plenty of good songs in here. It's Addicted to Chaos. I've
Addicted to
always liked
Yeah,
The
Addicted to
Killing
Chaos,
Road.
Killing Road, Legion Fields. I actually kind of like. Blood of Heroes is cool.
Elysian Fields is a good one. Yeah. Family
Uh,
Trees.
I like Family Tree.
Like
And I thought I knew it all. Black Curtains is okay, and the last song, Victory, is pretty good too.
Victory, I love. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of does lose a little bit on I Thought I Knew It All in Black Curtains, but I still like both of those. There isn't really anything on here I dislike, even though Elysian Fields, Thought I Knew It All. Those are kind of like filler tracks, but they
Yeah.
still come off pretty. And that's what I mean by, they had grown as songwriters because even though I enjoy the track, I will say I like the song, Liar, for example,
Mhm.
on So Far So Good So What is definitely a filler track, and it works because of that poison and that Vitriol he's spitting out at Chris Poland at the time, but it's not really all that interesting of a song musically.
Right. No, not at all. All right. So then we get to Cryptic Writings.
Yeah, that one I do not have, except on CD, but
Yeah. And I thought at first it was kind of like a return to form, more like a countdown mixed with Rust in Peace type album. Especially with that song She Wolf.
yeah, She
That's
Wolf definitely, that's my favorite song on it.
Yeah, I think everybody loves that song off of this album. I never heard anybody say anything bad about that. So I didn't actually, when you ever ask anybody what's your favorite song off of Cryptic Writings, they go to She Wolf a lot of times. But there's some really cool songs like Trust. I thought was all right, and
Trust
Almost
I like,
Honest.
Almost Honest. The Disintegrators, that's another good one that's pretty thrashy.
But see, what Almost Honest, that's kind of almost like a foreshadowing of what's going to come on Risk. That song's like a bridge between those, between the albums. And
and is it silly? Yes, but I
yeah,
like Have Cool Will Travel. The harmonica works. I don't care what anybody says.
I forgot about the harmonica.
Yeah, it's different, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But this is the first album where they start tossing out filler tracks that don't really do anything for me
Mm-hmm.
and aren't even real memorable, like FFF, the closing track. That's just sin. It
Mm.
doesn't even need to be there. I'll get even a couple
I don't
more.
mind that one. It's very similar to
Oh, wait a minute,
Bread
wait a minute.
Line.
No, I'm thinking of Mastermind,
Mm.
where it starts off sounding cool and then you just kind of forget how the song sounds about halfway through.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at some of these titles and I don't even remember what Mastermind sounds like.
Use the Man always kind of bothered me, honestly. I was never really into that song, the second single.
Right.
Um, I really liked the lyrics. Surprisingly, insightful lyrics for Dave. Sorry, Dave, I love you, man. Had a great time that one time I met you. Would love to interview you on here someday, but some of your earlier lyrics are, well, you were young and they reflect that. We can, but Anyway, I really like the lyrics on Use the Man, but the song itself is a little too busy.
All right.
Whether it's the effects or whatever, doing there's just too much going on at certain points where it kind of stops the song dead for me.
Mm.
And then it moves back to the main riff, but it's not terrible. I can listen to it, but I wouldn't have picked that as a single.
I can't even think what that song sounds like right now. It's just I'm drawing a blank. Come on,
Uh,
sing a little bit of it.
hmm?
Sing a little bit of it. Oh no, I know what it is now. The song begins with a sample of needles and pins. Okay, now I remember.
Yeah,
I
needles
remember.
and pins. He's singing
Yeah,
about heroin and stuff.
yep, yep, yep. I remember it now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that because I'm trying to think how to describe it, but like before it gets to the chorus and there's kind of that swirling with the guitars and it's almost like a cacophony of a bunch of sounds at one place. It's just,
but yeah, it's not a terrible album. It's just I was hoping for more something more towards Countdown, and we didn't get it. Almost. Did you hear it?
I would have preferred, the songwriting style of Euthanasia because even though it's the radio album, they did very good like that. I would have
Mm,
preferred that with more of the heaviness and the more I'm gonna say swing. And what I'm thinking of is more like how 70s rock bands played,
mm,
in the guitars like that. And there is quite a bit of that on Euthanasia. And I think they're Countdown to Extinction. And I think they could have brought that and that heaviness into the Euthanasia formula and still had it work. But what we get here is we get half youth, kind of half countdown, where they're taking a step back but still trying to move forward. And I don't think it always works. It's not a bad album, but they should have spent a little bit more time living with it or less time worrying about what people were saying.
yeah. Have you ever heard the Japanese bonus track One Thing?
Oh man, I totally forgot about that. I
I
have
did
heard it
too.
because I used to have the Japanese CD, but I haven't heard that tune in years. I don't even remember how it goes, to be honest with you.
I wonder if that's on the box set. The what the hell you that war
Warheads
chest?
on foreheads?
Yeah.
I
No,
don't see why
there's
it
a
wouldn't be.
no. That's not Warheads on four. Is it Warheads?
Yeah, warheads on foreheads.
I don't remember that's the name of that box set, but yeah, I thought that song was cool. I like that one. That one I do remember. That should have actually been on the album. They could have took one of the other songs off, like
I
Sin,
remember,
and put
huh?
that on there. They should have took like Sin off of there and made that the bonus track and put that
Oh
on the
yeah,
album.
that would have been a lot better.
What's in the chat here? Oh, nothing else. All right, so then we get to what is next?
Risk,
Oh yeah,
everybody's
Risk.
favorite
Risk
Megadeth.
is next. And again, we're still like not putting Vic on the album covers. I mean, I couldn't see him on this one anyway. He's not even in the booklet on this one, is he? I don't even think so.
No, I
They've
don't
just
think he's anywhere in that.
completely abandoned him altogether.
Oh
No,
yeah.
it's a cat and mouse in the booklet.
So cryptic writings is where it started bothering me that he wasn't on there because Countdown and Youth they kind of fit a theme and he still pops up.
Right.
But
But
cryptic writings is just stupid. And come on, man, he's Vic Rattlehead. He's made through voodoo. He could totally do something cool with cryptic writings.
it
Let's be real.
he could have. He could have done something cool. I mean, I'm glad they didn't put him on Risk because what the hell could they have done with him on Risk? you know,
Oh, they could have come up with something stupid, I'm sure.
I don't know. But this I saw this. I'm like, oh Christ, there's no way to, this can't be good. I don't know. I don't even think I heard a song off of this when this came out. I don't think I was paying attention. I didn't know about the WCW thing until I was watching it and then
Oh, okay.
realized that song was on there. I'm like, what the hell is
Oh,
that?
I hadn't heard it before that. That was my first time hearing it.
And yeah, I didn't realize. And yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember when did this come out? 99.
99.
I don't even remember when I was doing in 99. I
I
don't know.
just remember when my one buddy Chris that I grew up with, we still watched WCW and WWF together. And I remember him being like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. And I'm like, well, I thought it was awesome they were on here. And then they started playing the song. I'm not too sure about this one.
It's just so cheesy. I mean,
And
it
then I
kind of
thought it
there's like
when
some
it
kind of
came
hope
out.
with that intro, they enter the arena intro thing. I'm like, all right, we'll see what happens here. And it just crush them.
Well,
It's just a stupid saying. It's just a stupid chorus. It's just dumb.
yeah, and then the other thing about that was oh, I can't remember the sports writer's name, but when he compared the Flyer fans, they're terrible. They should be working security for Megadeth, and then they had them cool shirts and all that. But then what they chose to play in the arena is Crush 'em, and then Dave was talking about how it's a great hockey song, and it's like, I don't know how many hockey games you've been to, but it doesn't quite match playing NHL hockey.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't match anything. It's just a stupid song.
The whole thing is weird. It sounds like parts of different songs strewn together.
Right. And it's like too happy. If you're gonna be crushing somebody, you don't want to be happy about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's strange. It's not a battle cry. It
Right.
doesn't sound tough. And I think was it Friedman I saw that said it was athletic. Like, what about this is athletic
Well, I
stuff?
could see it like on like some kind of running thing, like a running marathon or something like that. Because that's what it's got that kind of like
Yeah,
more upbeat type thing. It's more
true,
clean
true.
guitars. It's not something that's like, it doesn't sound tough. It doesn't make me say or feel like I want to crush something when I hear that, you
Yeah,
know.
no, I'm not gonna go
It's just
tackle anybody. I can play football to catch scratch fever, but I can't play
r-
it to crush
you
them.
can't. No, you can't. uh it's just, yeah, it's just weird. It's weird, but I like Insomnia. There are the good songs on here. I do like Insomnia.
Insomnia is good. Breadline's a really good one.
Breadline is my favorite song off of this whole thing.
Breadline really highlights what they were going for.
Right. And it's got a really good chorus. The guitar solos, everything in that song is really, really good. Oh, and also too, what I didn't mention is Nick Menza's gone off of this album. They got a new drummer, Jimmy
Jimmy
DeGrasso, right?
DeGrasso.
And different drumming. You can tell it's just a whole different
Yep.
thing going on.
And you have Dan Huff, who I believe was a friend of Friedman's, because Marty's dad was a country music guy, I believe. And that's where Marty got a lot of his things he learned that way. And Marty wanted to move more in a totally commercial hard rock style like this for a long time. I think that's what he actually did after he left Megadeth.
Mm.
But I'll be honest with you, though, I never really followed up on what he did because I wasn't into it. I heard a couple of songs and I'm like, yeah, that's okay. But they accomplished their goal a lot in the production and some of the songwriting, but for as much as Dave will talk about it and say, "Oh, if anybody else's name on that, it would have been great." I really don't feel that way because as much as I like parts of this and do think it is a good album, it doesn't really always connect
Mm.
for large parts of this.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to give it a star rating, I'd do a 2 out of 5.
I'd probably do a 3 at least.
You think it? Hang on, I got to look at the track listing again.
Because like I said, Breadline, Doctor's Calling, Insomnia, Prince of
Oh yeah,
Darkness.
time the beginning, time the ends on
Those
here.
are That's a great ending
Calling.
for this album. I think
Yeah, three out of
those two
five,
things.
definitely. And even in the songs that aren't all that great, honestly, you get some really cool riffs and chords in here. You
I'll
know,
Be There is a really cool song too. I mean, even though
yeah.
it's a little light and everything, I think it's a really good song.
No, I think this album gets unfairly maligned a lot.
It
And
does. It just don't sound like Megadeth. It's just not what people would have expected Megadeth to put out.
no, not at all.
Is a very strange album. Very strange sounding album, I should say.
Considering what they were going for, I mean, other than the fact that it's Megadeth, I don't think it's all that strange.
In
Like,
in the in in the Megadeth sound, it is though.
yeah,
It
yeah.
has it
Oh,
does
yeah.
the guitars are different, the drums are different. It's just a completely different sound. It's not a
Oh, yeah.
Megadeth
I
sound
mean,
at
in the
all.
fact that they were trying to make a
It
modern
sounds
rock
like
album, if you
right. It
will.
sounds like something you turn on a radio, you'll hear that sound from something like I don't know,
Oh yeah,
dishwasher band or
the
something like that. I
production
don't
sounds
know.
like Dishwalla.
Yeah.
Or oh God, could you imagine him covering a Better Than Ezra song? Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Let's not give him any ideas. Oh boy.
I just hope he doesn't hear that and take it seriously and be like, I hate this guy.
What else do we got? What else does after risk go? World needs a hero.
Yes, the world needs a hero. Now, this was the first one. Well, okay, I bought Risk when it was still a new release, but this was
Mm,
the first one I bought on release day and actually went to Tower Records and everything.
yeah.
Okay, it was a CD, not this one. But.
All right.
And I remember the ad campaign for it. Oh, Megadeth is getting back to the basics. I was like, oh, sweet. I can't wait for this.
Mm-hmm.
And well, being that I was fairly young, when I got it when it first came out, I thought it was pretty cool at first, even if it did sound a little samey. But the longer time got on, I mean, I got good memories of it. Loved seeing the tour, but hate me for it if you want, even because yes, it is back to basics and has some cool Rust and Countdown moments on it as throwbacks and even to Peace Cells. But songwriting wise, this is the weakest album of this set.
Mm,
There's
interesting.
stuff on it I like a lot, but I mean, okay, Return to Hangar, it's blatant because they call it Return to Hangar. Yes, he's riffing on Hangar 18, but
Mm-hmm.
Dread and the Fugitive Mind, I like the song. I will say, I like the song. It was a good pick for a single, but it's still Sweating Bullets Part 2.
Right. Yes.
And another thing that really got me about this that kind of makes it mediocre is Motorcycle, for example, Burning Bridges, When, Recipe for Hate. That's actually When is a really good song. Their
It is.
longest song ever, too, at 9 minutes. But anyway, what I was getting at is even though, yes, they play around in that Rust and Countdown piece a little bit, they never really get super aggressive here, ever,
Mm-mm.
on any of the solos or anything. And it's weird, especially on something like Moto Psycho, because of how the rest of the song is. You kind of expect them to break into the solo and have at least be partially thrashing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting euthanasia guitar solos on this album. It kind of thrown me for a loop.
Yeah. Well, they
I
also
didn't
got
notice as much when it first came out.
right
I'll admit I was just happy it sounded like what it did.
now. They have another guitar player now because Marty's gone and Al Petrelli's in the band. So, do you think that has to do with Al Petrelli being in the band and not Marty?
I think that's part of it, yeah, because that's not really Petrelli's style.
Mm,
So it kind of does more fit how he plays. But Dave also plays lead guitar, so
mm. And it is
yeah.
Dave's band.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Not even he really kicks it up a notch. But yeah, I do think Al's a big part of it. But I don't know that Dave was quite ready to jump back full force, to be honest with you. I think he might have been a little irritated at the fan base
Why would he be irritated with the fan base?
because of how they reacted to Risk,
Oh, mm.
and he fully believed in it. So
Yeah.
I think he was a little annoyed he had to go back and do a more back to basics album. Although, to be honest, it's what they needed to do unless he was going to change the band name.
Right. Where could you go from Risk? You can't. You would really have to turn into an
That's
alternative
one
band
thing
at that
about
point.
styles like that. You really can't change that type of stuff all that much.
Right.
You can bring certain other things into it, but they went as far as they could with that,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel like. And I'm glad they left it behind.
Yeah. They could not continue to do another one if they wanted to stay Megadeth anyway.
Oh, and I don't care how many people hate the cheesy cover. I love Alien and I love Vic Renegade.
Right. I thought that album cover was pretty cool. Now they censored it, but I thought that was cool. Just especially when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, cool. Megadeth's going to be back to their thrashy stuff, and especially with an album cover like that because it's got blood on it, and you got Vic back. you know?
Yeah. No, I really do like it. I actually think it's underrated because there are some really good songs on there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It, it's just it never fully kicks into that aggressive notch.
No, no. I like a lot of the stuff on here. Disconnect. World needs a hero. Motorcycle is okay. 100,000 times goodbye is all right. Recipe for hate and Warhorse. I really like that song because it reminds me a lot of from Rust in Peace, the first song.
The Holy War's the
Holy
punishment
Wars. Yes,
too.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm forgetting that, but it's just like a rehash. They're
No, it is
basically rehashing songs that were popular and just making them into when did this come out? 2000, 2001.
2001.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2001. So they're just
Yeah, no.
revamping those songs that were popular,
Oh
I think,
yeah,
from
he
earlier
reuses
albums.
a lot of riffs on here from
Yeah.
those two albums, Rust in Peace and Countdown to Extinction.
Which is fine. I mean, it's their band. It's their band, so they can do whatever they want. That doesn't bother
You,
me when bands do that.
it's not like he's just changing the lyrics and changing the title and
Right.
pretending it's a new song, though. They are musically different. They just rehash some of the riffs here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And that's fine by me. I like the album. I think it's okay. It's not bad. We didn't get to the bad one yet. We still got a ways to go. Oh, and Nexus System has failed. So I'll save that for the other guys because I don't want to.
No, I love
I
that
don't want to go
record,
ahead.
but we'll
Yeah.
get to that next time.
And I also haven't listened to that one in quite a while. So actually, this when we get to this album, this is where I was like, because Megadeth they disbanded for a while. I think
Yes,
Dave was going through something, right? Something happened with him,
Dave injured his nerve while he
right?
was at an AA meeting because of how he sat in a chair and he couldn't feel in his right hand. So he had to go through a lot of therapy. But at the time, after this tour for The World Needs a Hero in 2002, they told him he was pretty much never going to play guitar again.
Right.
So, as he was getting better and doing the rehab and everything and going through it, he had already technically disbanded Megadeth in 2002. I I'll look it up for the next show when we get into it. And I didn't bring up a lot of history on these albums, by the way, because I'm sure you guys did, even though I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. No sense in rehashing everything, but anyway, he had started The System Has Failed as a solo album, and I
Mm.
forget exactly how it morphed into a Megadeth album.
Mm. Did you hear the MD 45 album that
Oh
he
yeah,
put out?
with Leaving
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
that
yeah.
the
Yeah, the
redo with
original one.
vocals is bullshit. Yeah,
Right. What did you think of that band?
I really liked it.
Yeah. It was weird. It was okay. I got both versions. I don't list it. They don't get many spins from me. Either one.
Um, it's Leaving's attitude and voice that carries it for me, to be honest with you. Musically, it is not super interesting, which is
Mm,
why I really don't care for the version with Dave singing. It
yeah.
really brings its shortcomings to the forefront.
Mm.
I like it, but for me, it's all about Leaving. It really wouldn't matter if Dave was there or not. Sorry, Dave.
uh,
Love you in Megadeth, but MD45 wasn't the best thing in the world.
no, nope, not at all. And I also remember they put out a like a best of thing and had that
Oh,
like
Capital
tomb
Punishment.
was it a capital punch? I don't think it was capital punishment. It had it's still alive, I think, or something was called, and it had the
Oh, still
tombstone.
alive and well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
with the tombstone on the front. Yeah,
yeah. Because they,
I
I
thought
think
that was a live album. Was that a
I
compilation?
think it was a compilation. It was like a best of
Hang on,
type
I'll look
thing.
right now.
Because I was gonna buy it, and I didn't buy it because it wasn't anything new. I don't think it was a live album. Where the hell's come on? I'm on Wikipedia. All right, discography. I want studio albums, compilations. Yeah, still alive and well.
It is a
Compilation.
compilation. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got the time. What is? Oh, right, yeah. There's live songs on it, but it's not like specific like live show.
Okay, so it's
Yeah,
just a compilation altogether. I got
compilation.
you.
Yeah. with some songs from World Needs a Hero and yeah, actually that makes absolutely no sense. No wonder why I didn't buy it. Because it's
I
the end half of the album is all songs from World Needs a Hero, and then the first half is stuff live stuff from 2001.
Yeah, I just remember buying it and being like, oh, I shouldn't have bought this. This isn't really all that
Yeah.
cool. Because I thought the whole thing was a live album from the tour, and then
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah, very strange. But I guess that was because Megadeth was up in the air at that time. So
Oh, they were done as far as Dave was concerned. I mean, he
yeah,
had formally ended the band.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I remember that because I was like, man, no more Megadeth. And thankfully, he did what he could do to get his hands back and he got back to playing again. And then he did the got the band back together kind of and made the new album, which we'll talk about next time.
Oh
Um,
yeah, definitely.
but um, but yeah, it'll be interesting because I haven't heard that in quite a while.
Uh, Listening to it earlier in the month is the first time I actually listened to it in a few years. I mean, I love Megadeth. I listen to them all the time. One of my favorite bands. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's usually from "Killing Is My Business" up to "Cryptic Writings," and
Right. Yeah, it's true. Like I said, I stop at this one. I don't stop. I still buy the albums, but it's just like the songs and stuff that I remember. It's everything before this.
Mhm.
Everything after it, I'm like, oh my, when are they going to release something cool? If there's a song here and there, like they'll release a cool single here and there, but full albums, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind when I go back and listen to these because I really actually have to listen to them because I don't remember anything. It's sad. It's really sad.
There's one that somebody brought up to me earlier, asking when we were gonna get to it, and I was like, "Man, I don't remember a thing about that album," because I had to look it up because I was like, "I don't know, that doesn't sound like a Megadeth song. It's an album title to me." Oh, Super Collider. I completely forgot about that album. I mean,
I don't even think I listened to the whole entire thing.
and and 13 was the other one. I didn't even
Right.
recall that record.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame too, because they had Broderick. They what's his name? Dave Broderick, right?
Was it Dave or Chris? Yeah.
Chris Broderick. That's
Chris
right.
Broderick.
Chris
Yeah.
Broderick. Yeah. And he was from Jag Panzer. And I was like, all right, cool. He's a really good guitarist. And he's really gonna fit well. And unfortunately the songs didn't fit very well. But we'll get to that. We'll
Yeah,
get to that
yeah.
stuff.
Maybe I'll hear something different. Maybe I'll be in the mood
I'm
for it.
I'm hoping
I
I'm
don't
hoping
know.
I do because I just I feel like I should like those albums, because I love the first half of Megadeth so much, and it just sucks that I don't like those albums. So I'm hoping there's something I like.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But before we go, have you gotten anything new lately? Because we haven't showed any new stuff.
No, there's a couple things coming in the mail that I'll have for next week, though.
Oh, that reminds me. I actually forgot about this. I got something new in the mail today, and it's one of King Fowley's one of his what do you call those things that he does?
Raffles?
The raffles, yeah.
Cool.
Put it in a box. I didn't think I was gonna win. I put a couple numbers on some things, and I actually won more than I thought I was gonna win. But I'll show
Oh,
you what I
nice.
won. Hopefully, it's something cool. I don't remember.
Yeah, I won Hellion and a couple Slayer shirt and a couple things from him a little bit back.
Somebody, Brandon, won something that I wanted. I can't remember what it was because we both bid on it. I don't remember what it was, but then I saw he got it. I was like, God damn it! Oh yeah, I got this. This is pretty cool. The a Merciful Fate
Oh,
patch.
cool. Yeah, I didn't see that until he had already pulled it, but I was like,
Yeah.
damn, I would have liked to have gotten in on that. That's awesome. You got
But
that.
this is gonna fit perfectly because I have a vest that I wore for band photos, and I was putting patches all over it, and I wanted a Merciful Fate when I have one, but I really like this one, so I might put this one on there instead. Oh, and then this one too. I didn't have this Machine Head in Deep Purple.
Oh, cool.
Not a big deal.
Great
For some
album.
reason, I can't find this one. I never see that used.
Really?
Yeah. I used to see used all the time, but lately I haven't seen it at all. And then this here, I thought was cool. I don't have one of these. Twisted
Oh,
Sister.
this You Can't Stop Rock and Roll shaped
Uh,
picture disc. That's
no,
awesome.
the kids are back.
Kids are back. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah. Kids are back.
that's on the album, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I thought that was. He had another. He had like two more on there, but I like this because it's a shaped disc. So I thought that was cool. So that's my winnings.
Oh, I did see Iron Maiden on the Days of
Oh
Future
yeah,
Past
how'd that go? How'd
last
that go?
week. That was awesome. Honestly, that's my second favorite show I've ever seen from them. And Senjutsu has really grown on me. And that was a great idea to put Somewhere in Time intermixed with Senjutsu songs. It was a great show. And it's really cool stuff they didn't do before. I really like Eddie and Bruce shooting the pyro at each other.
I've seen videos of that.
That was
Yes, it's
great.
pretty funny.
And it was Minneapolis St. Paul was the first show after Paul Diano died. And they did a really nice tribute to him at the beginning of the Time Machine and dedicated that to him. So you should go check that out.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, but I got to see Alexander the Great live, man. I mean, you can't beat that. And it's probably the last time they'll ever do it. Let's be honest, first and last.
Yeah, probably.
And it
How
was cool.
was
Stranger in a Strange Land, Caught Somewhere in Time. The only thing I really wish they changed about it is I could have lived without Heaven Can Wait again. Like, I wish
oh
they would
yeah,
have replaced that with Sea of Madness.
right. Yeah, they play that song over and over again. They really need to change that up once in a while.
You know what, too? I did, well, I've listened to the album more as I've gone along, so I don't dislike the song like I did when I first heard it when they put the video out, but the writing on the wall sounds so much better live than it does on the
Really?
record. Yeah.
I like the record version. I didn't like that when it first came out. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is not because I hated Book of Souls, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't want another Book of Souls album.
And
But it grew on me.
I didn't hate it when it came out. It just it's a long record. It's
It is.
very multifaceted and progressive. You have to sit with it. There aren't really any instant hits on
No,
it.
no, there isn't. But
You
it
know,
is
there
a
is no Aces High.
no, and I don't think we'll ever get that ever again. There's no way. I don't think so.
No, but what Senjutsu does show me, well, if Steve's willing to write a song shorter than 9 minutes anyway, is that they're still capable of doing something as strong as Stranger in a Strange Land, where it's also more melodic and laid back like that. They're definitely capable of doing memorable stuff
They
still.
are right.
Like you know, one song, I think it's a shame so many people cut on about it being self-indulgent and all that. Yes, it is a longer track, but Death of the Celts is an awesome song.
Mm. I was just listening to that album a few weeks ago, and I still like every song over there. It's just really good, you know.
Yeah, I do too. Like I said, the only thing that kind of I just did not like writing on the wall initially when I first heard it, and it kind of,
It's different sounding for a Maiden song. It's different, but it's good. I think it's
yeah.
really good. Um, but yeah, I just wish that they would write these songs, right? They write it first. If you want a 9 minutes long, fine, go ahead, write it that way. But then go back and cut it up to at least
Yes.
maybe a 5 to 6 minute song because there are parts you don't need to keep repeating over and over again. Just shorten the songs.
Oh no, and honestly, you can even look at Alexander the Great as an example. I mean, there's some slower parts, there's some different parts of that, and they do repeat the riffs on the verses, but that song
It's
works. It's
but it
great all
works.
the way through.
And
There's no extra crap, and some of these other tunes are like that. There's just
right.
pieces that should have been cut out.
And it because they're very repetitive and it's very slow. So you remember those, like Alexander the Great, there's so much going on that song, and it's a long song, but there's so much going on that you kind of don't really pay attention to it, repeating and stuff like that. But
Right.
these new songs, they're all kind of like the same speed, they're all kind of like doing the same things, and it's just repeating over and over again, and it sucks, because
It
they can do
does.
better than that,
And one of the shames about it is the acoustics on the intros. It's super cool. You
It's
don't need to
cool,
slow it back down mid song just to
right,
play that again. It doesn't even really fit.
right. We can just do it the once and maybe repeat it at the end. Like I don't know. I just wish that what's the name, Kevin Shirley or whoever's producing it would be like, can we
Kevin.
just shorten this down to 6 minutes? you know,
Yeah, Ari might be the boss, but he needs someone to say, "Look, man,
at least for the last album, can we just condense songs, please?
just a
Something,
little bit."
please. That's all we want.
But I love the show. I mean, honestly, probably the most I've ever enjoyed Yannick playing with them on third guitar because he's there to play the backup for the synth parts.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Um, did you notice anything with Nico with his drum playing at all? Because I know he's had to change some things the way he plays.
So it's odd to read people complain about this, and some of them I just don't think they understand drumming or actually playing music. But it's not that he isn't playing fills at all. He's playing them differently. They're not
Mhm.
exactly the same, but it's close enough where it doesn't make any difference in the song.
Right.
And it's only on some of the more complex parts. Like he plays it a little different on Caught Somewhere in Time, but it doesn't hurt the song. It still sounds almost exactly the same. I've just heard the record 500 friggin' times. So it's
Right.
like, it's a little different. But I mean, the man is up there trying his ass off,
Yeah.
and he did everything he could to go through that rehab and come back for the fans. And I just think if you're that much of an asshole where you're going to get online and complain about that, you should just fuck off because Iron Maiden doesn't need you. He didn't go through what he did for 10 weeks and then get back out there because he needs the money, because he doesn't.
Right.
He
Yeah.
did it so people could see Nico McBrien play with Iron Maiden.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. I mean, I don't care if he's gonna. When you play live anyway, you don't play the same things you play on the album, and he's proved himself enough. Like he can do what he wants now.
Oh yeah, and
So
and honestly, it's just a couple of faster fills.
right.
It's not like whole sections of the song are different.
Yeah. Right. So it is what it is. I prefer him up there than not being there. Because if he's not there, I think the band's done anyway. They're not going to get another drummer. So
I think so too. That's why I wish I could have afforded floor seats so I could have gotten up to the barrier. I want that fucking drumstick so bad. I wanted the one he played Alexander with, but I wasn't paying $200 to be at the barrier. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's crazy. Although
Honestly,
that's a steal though. That's not bad.
no, yeah, I mean it's not terrible, but I mean, come on, man. I've seen him 15 times. I brought every album at least twice. Throw me a friggin' bone.
Well, you got to get a friend
Send
like I
me,
got.
please, Nico, send me a drumstick.
You got to get
That's
you got
all
to
I want.
you got to get a friend like me who catches it and gives it to me.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that.
Yeah, did I ever tell you about this?
No, you
This
never
drums
did actually. I
no.
had no idea you had that.
My first concert I ever went to was the Iron Maiden concert for when Bruce came back, the Ed Hunter tour.
Ed Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, so we went to the Manhattan Center and they played. And at the end of the show, Nico throws a stick out, and I stick my hand out, just saying, yeah, "There's no way," because we're all the way up at the top of the balcony or whatever. I said, "There's no way that's reaching me." I stuck my hand out anyway, and he stuck his hand out. It came right to us, and he grabbed it. I was like, "You son of a bitch!" So he had it for a couple of years actually, and then he was moving and just getting rid of stuff. And he goes, "Here, you can have this. I know you want this more than I do." So
That's awesome.
I was like, all right, cool. I appreciate that. So I put it in a little box there or whatever. But
They are probably the band I've seen them. Well, they're definitely the band I've seen the most. One of the ones I've loved the most. One of the ones I've listened to the longest. One of my favorites, but I've never gotten lucky enough to catch anything personal from any of them.
yeah,
All of the autographs I have were purchased
right.
and not
Yeah.
in person. I would just not even to talk to them for any real length of time, just to shake hands and say, "Hey, you're great."
Mm,
But I wish it would happen one day. It probably never will, though.
no, probably not. I should have went back when Blaze was in the band when there was nobody going to the shows. That would have probably been the best
I
chance.
did see him when Blaze was in the band.
Oh,
I
you
saw
did.
him at Hammerjacks.
Oh, and you didn't get to see them then either, huh?
dude, I mean, I was right up there. Like their sweat was hitting me, but I was also about 12. I wasn't really
Oh yeah,
thinking
yeah, yeah.
about that at
That's
the
true
time,
too.
unfortunately.
I
So,
forget how young you are.
yeah, it was just like, holy shit, it's Iron Maiden. Steve Harris is right there.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I wish I would have went because they played not too far from me, and the place that they played is where Manowar played, and there was like 50 people when Manowar played there, and I heard there wasn't many people when Iron Maiden played there either. So that would have been like a perfect opportunity to, go
Dude, there might have
and
been
meet
a
them.
hundred people in that whole place when I
Yeah,
saw them.
that
They're, yeah,
I wish I would have went. That's stupid of me, but too late now.
yeah, I think it was Virtual 11.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was either X Factor or Virtual 11, one of those albums
Might have
when
been
they
X
came
Factor.
here.
One of the two. Yeah. I just remember it was Blaze when I first saw
Yeah.
them.
It's good stuff though. Good stuff.
That was the surprise because I didn't know anything about that.
Oh really? At all?
I didn't have the X Factor yet. Well, there wasn't a lot of, yeah, I mean, yes, the internet was around. The White House first got an email address in 1995, but let me tell you, your average person could not afford that shit and did not need it at the time. So
Right? Yeah.
I had no idea about the most recent information I had about them was Fear of the Dark type stuff.
Mm.
So going to that concert and seeing Blaze Bailey, it was like, what the hell? Where's Bruce?
Yeah, that's a shock.
Yeah, I knew Adrian was gone already, but I didn't know anything about Bruce, and that was really confusing to me at first.
Right. Yeah, I could see that would be. That's funny. Well, this was fun.
Indeed. Thanks for letting me do the recap.
Yeah, I felt bad that you missed the other one, so I really wanted you to get on these. So if anybody watched the other episodes, sorry this was like a recap episode, but it was fun. It was fun to reminisce and talk about these albums. So but next week as long as everybody's here next week, we'll see what happens. If not, well, we'll just continue without them, Greg. I don't care.
Yeah, why not? Now that I have everything straightened out, might as well. Luke can always do a recap.
Yeah, we can always let him do recaps, or I can break his kneecaps. Either way, we'll do something. Um, but yeah, thank you for watching, everybody, and hit that
Yeah.
subscribe button. And we're getting a lot of subscribers lately. We're up to over 3,000 now, which is really
Oh,
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, so people are actually watching this show, which is good. But you can also watch or listen to me on freeworld.fm. I'm on there right now, so if you're listening on there, thank you. And we'll be playing music in about 2 minutes, so be on the lookout for that. And
You should play
after
99 Ways to Die.
I opened the show with that. No, actually, I opened the show with "Go to Hell," then I played 909 Ways to Die.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I already played that, but I'll play some more Megadeth stuff. But yeah, join me on Free World, and I'm actually right after this. I'm gonna go right on TikTok and go on there and see what's going on TikTok. So if you're on
All right,
TikTok,
cool.
go find me. Rat Saddle Review. Yeah.
I'll let you go real quick after this. This just occurred to me, but Hidden Treasures, because we
Yeah.
all know how much I hate the Sex Pistols.
All right.
Love Problems. Love that cover. Had no idea that was a Sex Pistol song until
I didn't
later.
either until yeah. I had no idea. I never even listened to a Sex Pistols album, to tell you the truth.
You don't need to.
I'm not going
You
to.
really don't. Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever listen to one. They only have one album, right? Two albums?
They only have one album, one
Hmm.
studio, and I think Alive. And then I don't know what the other ones are. They got a lot of releases out there, but yeah, Punk, Black Flag, the Ramones, stuff like that. The Sex Pistols are basically just a corporate put together that couldn't play their instruments.
Right.
And you want to talk about snotty and obnoxiousness? Come on, Venom Man. At least they were fun.
Right.
Plus, they sung about the three things that are important: women, leather, and hell.
All right. On that note, everybody, have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Indeed, and happy Halloween.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween. I should have worn a mask.
I totally forgot until right now.
Yeah. Next time. All right. Good night, everybody.
Later.
Bye.